Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time, we are going to be exploring a really interesting intersection of literature and metaphysics with Borges' The Aleph and some excerpts from The Law of One.
Yeah.
And, you might think, how could those possibly relate?
Right.
But trust me, this is going to be really cool.
Yeah, I think it's intriguing to think about how these two sources approach the nature of reality and consciousness, each in their own way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Aleph, this story, it introduces this idea of a point in space that contains all other points.
Yeah.
And Borges paints this really vivid picture of this experience.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost dizzying to imagine.
It really does challenge our everyday perception of things, doesn't it? To see everything in the universe at once, the past, the present, the future, all happening simultaneously.
Right.
I mean, it's a concept that the Law of One can help us unpack a bit further with its idea of intelligent infinity.
Right. This idea of a boundless, interconnected consciousness that permeates all things. It's almost like Borges is giving us this fictional glimpse into what it might feel like to experience that kind of ultimate unity.
And what's really striking, too, is how Borges really captures that sheer awe and disorientation of perceiving the totality of existence. It's not just about seeing a bunch of images, it's about confronting the immensity of the universe and our place within it.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder if that's what it would actually feel like.
Yeah.
To tap into intelligent infinity.
Yeah.
Overwhelming, awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
Maybe a little terrifying.
Yeah.
But the Law of One goes on to explain that even the Creator experiences itself through infinite forms and understandings.
And this is really where I think the connection between the two sources becomes even more profound.
Okay.
The Aleph, with its infinite perspectives contained within a single point. I mean, this could be seen as a representation of the universe itself.
Right.
A manifestation of the creator's consciousness.
Okay, so we've got this fascinating link between the Aleph and intelligent infinity, but the Law of One also introduces this idea of the logos, which is a bit different, right?
Yeah, it is a bit different. The logos is described as a sub-creator, so it's responsible for individualizing galaxies and solar systems, so almost like a divine architect. It's shaping these vast cosmic structures, each with its own unique patterns and rhythms.
Okay. And here's where things get really interesting to me.
Okay.
Because the Law of One mentions that the logos used a huge portion of its coalesced material to reflect the beingness of the creator. And so portions of the galactic system are dwelling spiritually as a part of the logos. Without needing to progress through densities like we do.
Yeah, and that's such a crucial point.
Right.
Because it really challenges our linear understanding of spiritual evolution.
Right.
Could there be multiple paths to unity with the creator? Could some beings kind of bypass the need for these really dense physical experiences that we have here in third density?
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept, especially when you consider that the Aleph takes place in this very specific, almost mundane setting.
Right.
I mean, it's a cellar on an ordinary street in Buenos Aires.
Right, and that seemingly mundane setting, I think, might be pointing toward a much larger idea.
Okay.
Because if we connect this back to the concept of the logos, it suggests that even within this vast interconnected universe, individual experiences and perspectives hold immense significance.
So we're seeing this really fascinating interplay between the cosmic and the personal.
Right.
The logos shaping these grand cosmic structures. And yet within them, you have this intricate tapestry of individual journeys. It makes you wonder about the purpose of our own individual experiences here.
And that brings us to a key aspect of the Law of One, right? It's this concept of third density as a realm of learning and polarization.
Okay.
Through catalysts.
Right, so this is where we come in.
Right.
The Law of One explains that we're here in this physical reality to learn and grow and ultimately choose our polarity.
Yeah.
Service to others or service to self.
Yeah, exactly. And the challenges that we face, the things we might call problems, actually serve as catalysts for that growth.
Right.
They kind of push us to make choices.
Right.
To define who we are.
Right.
And ultimately to move closer to one polarity or the other.
Okay. But there's this catch, right?
Right.
The veil of forgetting.
Yeah.
The Law of One says that we chose these challenges before incarnating.
Right.
But the veil separates us from that.
Yeah.
From the memory of that choice and our true nature.
It's almost as if we've willingly entered this cosmic game.
Yeah.
And we've agreed to forget the rules. and our true identities.
Right.
In order to make the experience more meaningful.
Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Think about the protagonist in the Aleph. He is initially captivated by this glimpse into the totality of existence, but then he struggles to even articulate or fully remember the experience afterwards?
That's a brilliant observation, because I think the protagonist's experience with the Aleph, it could be a metaphor for our own human struggle to grasp and integrate spiritual truths. We get these flashes of insight, these moments of profound connection, but then the veil makes it really hard to fully hold on to them.
So both Borges and the Law of One are kind of highlighting this idea that there's a hidden reality, something beyond our everyday perception that we catch glimpses of, but can't quite fully grasp.
And maybe, the journey itself, the seeking, the questioning, is as important as the destination. It's in that process of exploration that we truly learn and grow. It's fascinating how both the Aleph and the Law of One kind of touch on this idea of pre-veil existence. Like before we incarnated into this density, according to the Law of One, we chose the specific conditions of our lives, the challenges.
It really makes you think, if we chose these challenges, knowing they would help us evolve, does that change how we view the tough moments, in our own lives? Do they feel less like just random events and more like purposeful steps on our journey?
It's a good question. It really is a question worth pondering. Because it suggests that even the most difficult experiences have this deeper meaning. A role to play in our soul's evolution. And this also ties back to this concept of polarity. Which is central to the Law of One.
This choice between service to others or service to self. And it's interesting how both sources, even though one is fiction and the other is metaphysical, they both kind of explore this idea of making that choice.
In the Aleph, I think the character of Carlos Argentino, who is obsessed with possessing the Aleph and proving his superiority, he could almost be seen as embodying this distortion of service to self.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like his desire for knowledge. And power is driven by ego and a need for control, rather than a desire to serve or uplift others. Exactly. And the Law of One provides this framework for understanding that. It explains that negative polarity, while it is part of the overall cosmic balance, relies on separation and control. It often manifests as a desire to dominate or manipulate others.
And the Law of One even mentions this Orion group, a negatively oriented extraterrestrial group that tries to influence those who resonate with their vibration.
That's like a chilling example of negative polarity in action. And it reminds us that this choice between service to others and service to self isn't just this personal dilemma. It actually plays out on a cosmic scale.
Wow. So we've got these negative forces at play in the fictional world of the Aleph, and in this metaphysical framework of the Law of One. What does that even mean for us here in third density? Like, how do we navigate a world with both positive and negative influences?
That's the question, right? That's a crucial question. And I think both sources encourage us to grapple with that. It's not about ignoring the negative, but it's about learning to discern truth from manipulation, choosing compassion over control, and ultimately aligning ourselves with the forces that resonate with our highest good,
So both the Aleph and the Law of One seem to be pointing towards the importance of inner discernment.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're saying, hey, the universe is full of complexity, different energies, different agendas. Be mindful, pay attention, choose wisely. And I think one of the ways that we can navigate this complexity is through a deeper understanding of symbols and archetypes, which are kind of woven into the fabric of both of these sources.
Speaking of symbols, one thing that really struck me about the Aleph is how Borges uses the cellar itself as a symbol of the subconscious, like this hidden space filled with wonders and shadows, much like our own inner world.
That's such a wonderful observation. And it connects beautifully to the Law of One's perspective on archetypes. Because they're described as portions of the creator reflecting different facets of its being. They're like these universal energetic blueprints, offering unique lessons based on our individual needs and perspectives.
So it's not just random symbolism. these archetypes have this deeper meaning, almost like a universal language.
Right.
Speaking to us on a subconscious level.
Exactly, exactly. And the Law of One even uses this example of the tarot.
Right.
It explains that these cards weren't originally intended for divination,
Right.
but rather as tools for teaching and learning. Each card representing an archetype, and it offers a specific energy or lesson.
Oh, okay. So it's not about fortune-telling, but about self-discovery.
Yeah.
The symbols in the tarot are like mirrors, reflecting our inner landscapes and helping us understand ourselves better.
Exactly, precisely. And this same principle, I think, applies to the symbols and archetypes we encounter in literature, in dreams.
Right.
Even in our everyday lives,
Right.
there are all these opportunities for deeper reflection and understanding.
It makes you wonder if we become more attuned to those symbols, those whispers from our subconscious. Could we unlock this deeper level of meaning?
Yeah.
In connection to the universe?
That's a powerful question because it suggests that we're not just these passive observers in this cosmic dance, you know? We have the capacity to become active participants, to decode this symbolic language of the universe.
Yeah.
And find a deeper meaning in our own journeys.
It's amazing to think about how much ground we've covered in this deep dive.
I know, right?
We started with this short story and like a metaphysical text, and we ended up talking about the nature of reality, consciousness, the choices we make in life.
Yeah, yeah. And it really just shows you how powerful these seemingly very different sources can be at illuminating similar truths.
Right.
I mean, Borges, you know,
Nice.
through his amazing storytelling.
Yeah.
And the Law of One with like its metaphysical framework. They both offer these really unique pathways to understanding these really profound concepts, you know?
What's really resonating with me is how both sources emphasize this idea that like our everyday experiences, even the really mundane ones, can hold this deeper meaning.
Right.
Like the Law of One suggesting that even the challenges that we face are part of this larger plan, chosen by us before we incarnated.
And the Aleph, with its setting in that ordinary cellar, really reinforces that. Like even in the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
Profound truths can be found. It's like both sources are really encouraging us to pay attention, to look beyond the surface, you know, and find the extraordinary within the ordinary, you know?
That's a beautiful way to put it. It reminds me of this quote from the Law of One that says, all is one. And it suggests that like even fictional explorations, like the Aleph, can offer these genuine insights into the nature of reality.
It challenges that separation that we often create.
Right.
Between fiction and reality, like suggesting that even imagined experiences can hold profound truth and connect us to this larger understanding of ourselves and the universe, you know?
One of the most impactful takeaways for me from all this has been this idea of the veil of forgetting.
Right.
You know, the Law of One explains how we chose this experience of separation, this forgetting of our true nature, to make this journey of evolution more meaningful.
It really does raise a lot of questions.
Right. Like, why choose to forget?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of this cosmic game of hide and seek?
Right.
Maybe it's about rediscovering those truths, those pieces of ourselves, through experience, through choice. It's like we're on a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
And the clues are scattered throughout our lives, disguised as challenges, synchronicities, those moments of sudden insight.
Maybe the veil isn't meant to keep us in the dark. But rather to make that process of awakening, you know, of remembering who we truly are, that much more meaningful.
Right.
It's about finding our way back to that sense of unity, that connection to intelligent infinity that Borges so beautifully portrays.
Yeah.
Through the Aleph.
And it's not just about individual awakening either, right? The Law of One emphasizes the importance of service to others, of using our understanding to contribute to the collective good.
And that's really where the choice of polarity comes in. Are we using our knowledge, our experiences, to serve ourselves or to uplift others? Are we choosing separation and control like Carlos Argentino, or love, compassion, and unity?
So it's about applying these insights, these glimpses into this larger reality to make choices that align with our highest selves. And contribute to a more compassionate and interconnected world.
It's about recognizing that we are all part of this huge interconnected web of existence. And the choices we make, the ways that we interact with each other and the world around us, they have ripple effects.
Yeah.
You know, they extend far beyond ourselves.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we leave you with this final thought. What personal AFs might you encounter in your own life? Moments of profound insight, connection, or expanded awareness. Keep your eyes open, your heart's receptive, and your mind's engaged. The universe is full of wonders waiting to be discovered.
And remember, as we've explored today, even fictional journeys can illuminate these profound truths. Allow yourself to be inspired, to question, to seek, and to embrace the mystery of it all. Thank you for joining us on this exploration.